and welcome to day 2 of Vlogmas 2019. Although Vlogmas started yesterday, the 1st of December, and I'm filming this on the 1st of December, I feel like Vlogmas has now truly started because I have a Christmassy background now. So I feel like, although Vlogmas started yesterday, now it's really happening because I've got my Christmas cactus, I've got my brightly coloured robin with a little jumper on it, I've got a sign that says Merry and Bright, and I've got a Christmas tree. Not only that, look at all of these Christmas books that I've got to read this month. Not got to, but like these are all this is my TBR for the month. So this year, I've been keeping an eye out for, oh look, and I've got some little Christmas lights on here as well, as if it couldn't be cute enough, little Christmas trees in bottles. These are all my reading books for December. So I'm not gonna do much pomp and parade before it because we've got so much to get through. I've been really keeping my eye out for Christmas books this year, and I'm very, very excited about all of these. So let's start with, let's start with this sort of like pile here, or shall I start? I'll start with my picture books because they're about to fall off. So my picture books go thusly. I'll start with the one that I won't be reading until Christmas Eve, and that is The Jolly Christmas Postman by Janet and Alan Olberg. If you are new to, if you've been here a while, you will know that David and I read this every Christmas Eve. It's a book from my childhood. I didn't own this when I was younger, but I always coveted it on children whose house I would visit if they had either The Jolly Postman or The Jolly Christmas Postman. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story told in rhyme, and about the Christmas postman who goes and delivers letters to different fairy tale characters. For example, Mr. Wolf the Den, and then not only that, you get to look in to their post and you read that. So David and I take it in turns. So for example, they've made the Wolf Spotter's Guide for Mr. Wolf, and David and I take it in turns to read either the rhyme or what's in the envelopes, and we read that every Christmas Eve. So looking forward to reading that. That's one that will be read on Christmas Eve. I've also got Mog's Christmas Calamity, which is a book that was bought out by Sainsbury's a few years ago, when they had their Christmas advert was a Mog book, was a Mog related advert, yeah, I just really like the story. It's very, very cute. It's about Mog sort of like mucking up Christmas bit and then the community coming together, and I used to read Mog when I was younger, so whenever I read or see the illustrations, it always reminds me of that. This is one that I think David got last year for Christmas. This is Home Alone, the classic illustrated story, and I feel like they do a few of these now. David's sister got him, oh, dropped it. David's sister got him this for Christmas, and I thought it would be a lovely thing to read. So I'll be reading that. Look at these end papers. They've got the house in the end papers, both ends, and then look with all happy people. So yeah, so I'll be looking forward to reading that. And then the last picture book I've got is one that I picked up last year, so it was on my TBR last year as well, and that's Last Stop on the Reindeer Express. This is Maudie Powtuck and Carl James Mountford, and this is a lovely story which has got lots of sort of cutouts in, and little doors and things like that, that I really enjoy. Like for example, look at these trees. You can look through those trees. Hi. And it's just lovely. It's really, really lovely. So I will look forward to reading that as well. Although I believe I ripped it a bit last year because I just cannot be trusted. Then I've got these. So, oh, this actually, I hadn't even planned for that, but they're all poems. So that's perfect. So this is all poetry. Don't read much poetry, but around Christmas I tend to get the old stacks of poetry out. So the first one is one that's just been sent to me by Book Break, and that is Poems for Christmas, which is the new Macmillan's Collector's Edition, which is just lovely in this sort of duck egg blue. And then underneath they're these like very light blue embossed, beautiful. I've got the brightest light in the world because it's so dark outside, so you might not be able to see the full whack of that, but very excited to read some of these. There's a lot of sort of traditional ones in here, and I've just opened it and it says Away in the Manger, which is a hymn I used to sing when I was at school. So yeah, we'll be dipping in and out of that. And then I've got this whole host of Carol Ann Duffy books, which again, if you're not new around here, you'll know that I buy one of these every year and I read them all through the month because I love them so much. So I won't talk about the ones that I've talked about before, but I will talk about the new one that I've bought this year. So I've got the Wren Boys. They're always illustrated by someone else. So it's a long form poem in these gorgeous little mini hardbacks with a different illustrator. So this is the Wren Boys, illustrated by Dermot Flynn. Then The King of Christmas, which is illustrated by Lara Hawthorne. Don't know if I said, but they're all by Carol Ann Duffy. Pablo Picasso's Noel, illustrated by Leah Malpate, which I really like these stars on the front of this one. I like that a lot. Mrs. Scrooge, it doesn't say who this is illustrated by. Who knows? Mrs. Scrooge, I don't know who that one's illustrated by. This one is one of my favourite books of all time, and that's Another Night Before Christmas, and that's illustrated by Rob Ryan, who's sort of known for his sort of cutout style and scalloped edges, and this whole book is just... it's just one of my favourite books ever. I love reading that so much. And then the new one I've got this year is Frost Fair, which is illustrated by David de las Heras. And this is set on a snowy London day in the Great Winter of 1683. We follow our bold narrator as she explores the town on the Thames, 1,000 tents and dancing fires lit on the frozen water, with jubilant residents and lively festive revelry. So it's a fate on the ice. And yeah, looking forward to reading that. Look, lovely, absolutely beautiful. Then I've got a selection of Christmas poems by Wendy Cope. This is just one that I picked up once. I think I was in Waterstones. It does work, those till purchases in Waterstones. They had like quite a few little books out there, so I bought that one. And then also I've got Tidings, A Christmas Journey by Ruth Padell, which I read last year, but I don't remember anything of it, which ordinarily I wouldn't revisit it, but I can't remember a thing, so I thought I'd give it another go. So, more books, more books. Oh, I've got another picture book there that I should have shown you. Well, they're all sneaking about. It's all mixed up together. So, I don't know why I've included this one, because I read it last year and I didn't love it, but I think I've got this as sort of like a backup. This is An Almost Perfect Christmas by Nina Steeb. So this is a collection of short stories and like true things about her Christmases, all brought together quite nicely. And yeah, it was fine. I don't know why I've included it this year. Maybe I was worried I wouldn't get around to it. I was worried I was going to run out of things. The next one is Almost Midnight, which is 2 festive short stories by Rainbow Rowell. Rainbow Rowell is the author of a number of sort of YA bookish books, things I've read. Attachments, that might even be an adult book. But yeah, 2 festive short stories. One is, and I think they're set Midnights and Kindred Spirits. So yeah, looking forward to that, and they're all sort of illustrated throughout as well, which will be very exciting. Then I've got The 12 Birds of Christmas by Stephen Moss. This was sent to me by the publisher. It looks beautiful. I feel like it would make an absolutely gorgeous gift as well. This is just a gift recommendation for free. This isn't even in the gift guide. And this is the end papers are all these different. So the birds from the 12 days of Christmas, and it goes into detail about each of those birds and what their lives are like. For example, so a partridge in a pear tree goes into detail about grey partridges. But then if we get a bit later, and then the obvious ones like geese and swans and things. But then we get 10 lords a leaping. We've got black grouse, 11 pipers piping, sandpipers, 12 drummers drumming, woodpeckers. And I used to be quite an avid bird watcher when I was younger, and I just thought it'd be lovely to get a bit of non-fiction and enjoyment. My dad was also very much enjoying this because he quite likes a bit of bird watching. Then the next one I've got is one that I've actually started listening to on audiobook today, so I haven't picked up any Christmas books today, but I have started listening to this on audio. And that's Christmas Days, 12 Stories and 12 Feast for 12 days. I read this last year. I listened to the audio of it last year and loved it so much that I wanted to revisit it via audio. And it meant I didn't have to buy any more Christmas books because I've already got one on there. And yeah, the audiobook is narrated partly by Jeanette Winterson and partly by another narrator whose name I believe is Imogen, but I can't think of her full name. And you skip between sort of a Christmas story followed by a Christmas recipe, and I'm just on the introduction at the moment where Jeanette Winterson is talking about sort of like the background of Mary and things like that. Now this is just such a beautifully produced book. It's one of these naked hardbacks, and it's just gorgeous. It's got illustrations throughout and just like the which introduces the next story and things. It just all looks beautiful. Like it's just a really lovely thing. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy listening to the audiobook of this as well. But I like to own this, and I thought I would show you, seeing as I'm going to be listening to it. And then this is a new one I've bought this year. And I think this is one I'm going to start tonight in the bath. And that is A Children's Literary Christmas. This is an anthology published by the British Library, edited by Anna James. BookTube's own Anna James. She has a channel she hasn't uploaded for ages called A Case for Books. And she also writes the Book Wanderers, Tilly and the Book Wanderers books, which I love. And this is just beautiful. So like, it's interspersed with like coloured pages, illustrations, all of this sort of same style. Look at that gorgeous bit with bits from different Christmas books, and I just think it's going to be an absolute joy to sort of visit all these different Christmassy, oh god, I even saw a really nice illustration there, to revisit all these sort of like Christmassy things and find some new Christmas literature that I haven't read before. So yeah, exciting. So it says some of the authors that are included in this are Matt Haig, Mallory Blackman, C.S. Lewis, L. Frank Baum, Charles Dickens, Dylan Thomas, Michael Morpurgo, Kes Gray, Laurie Lee, A.A. Milne, and many more. So excited to get into that. I'm going to put that one to one side because, as I said, I think that's the one I'm going to start today. Another one I'm listening to, oh, let's get all of these out. Another one I'm listening to at the moment is Nigel Slater, The Christmas Chronicles. This is, I guess it's similar to the Christmas Days in that it's interspersed with recipes, but also it's not short stories. It's more sort of like a memoir of Nigel Slater's Christmases. I've just listened to the bit where he's at a Christmas market and he's talking about that and the perfect mince pie and things like that. It's just super, and it's narrated by Nigel Slater. Really, really Christmassy, really, really cozy. If you love sort of cooking around Christmas time, which I do, I love it. This is for you, and it's just such a lovely, lovely book. And also this book has also got gorgeous, gorgeous photography in there as well, food photography, as well as just lovely, joyous Christmas photography. So many beautiful books. You won't be able to believe it. Look at all of this, lovely. So that's another one I'm listening to. Then I've got the book that we are reading for my Patreon book club. I run a book club over on my Patreon page, and we read a different book every month, and this month was Christmas books. David's going to be joining in this month as well, and the book that won the vote was Last Christmas, which is curated and introduced by Greg Wise and Emma Thompson. This is a selection of essays and short stories told by a whole host of different people, from celebrities to sort of homeless people to volunteers, all about their Christmases. It says here, memories of Christmases past and hopes for future ones. I have not started this yet. I'm really looking forward to it. David's going to listen to the audiobook, and I feel like maybe I'll join him on, if we're ever together, I can listen to like the odd one, but I think I am going to read this. But yeah, very, very interested. I love hearing about other people's Christmases and like people's plans and what they did when they were younger and things like that. So I just feel like this is going to be sort of almost perfect for me. So really, really looking forward to reading that. Really looking forward to reading that. Then I've got another picture book, one that I got out from the library last year and loved so much. I bought a copy of it because I just adore it. And it's Catherine Rundell's One Christmas Wish, and the illustration in this, and I almost don't want to show you because it's so beautiful, but they've got a lot of these sort of like double page spreads of gorgeous, gorgeous illustrations. I loved it. I read it for Cozy Reading Night last year, and my sister was here and I made her read it as well. And it's just a story about Christmas Eve. Theo is left at home with a babysitter as his parents are out, and he makes a Christmas wish, and it's just lovely, and the illustrations are just gorgeous, and it's quite funny as well. I found lots of parts of it funny. Now another book I've got, and actually I need to keep this out because, as I said, it's the 1st of December, and this is a sort of like Advent Christmas story with different tasks and things, and this is How Winston Delivered Christmas by Alex T. Smith. So this is a Christmas story in 24.5 chapters, so I'm going to keep up with this. I feel like this might be one, I mean, all these books for kids, and David and I just get so much joy out of them. I think this is going to be one that David and I are going to do as the month goes on. It's such a lovely idea, and then after each sort of like section of the story, it gives you a little task to do. So for example, today, because it's not the 1st of December when you're watching this, it's the 2nd of December, the task is make a Winston finger puppet, and it gives you sort of things you'll need and etc. And I assume that links in with the story. So yeah, it just sounds lovely. That sounds like I would have been so all over that when I was younger. I would have absolutely loved it. Right, we are getting to the end, I promise. The next one is three short stories, sorry, in a little binder. It's new this year. This is Festive Spirits by Kate Atkinson. You may well know that Life After Life by Kate Atkinson is one of my favourite books, as well as Behind the Scenes at the Museum. I love Kate Atkinson's writing. So when I saw she had a Christmas selection of 3 short stories called, these are what the short stories are called, Lucy's Day, Festive Spirit and Small Mercies, I was beside myself, and I snapped this up quickly, and £1 from every copy sold goes to Sight Savers. So yeah, very, very excited to read that. Then I've got another book that I'm really, really excited about, and I actually included this in my end of the year book tag, talking about books that I'm so excited about, and this is Adam Kay's 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Adam Kay wrote This Is Going to Hurt, which was one of my favourite books last year. It's a memoir of a junior doctor, what it's like to work, what it's like to train as a junior doctor, and this is sort of excerpts from those diaries, but Christmassy ones, and new material. I'm just so excited. It's only a short little thing, and yeah, I'm surprised I haven't started reading this already, because there's been so many times I've wanted to pick it up. So it came out in October, but yeah, I think this is one that I'm going to pick up really, really shortly. The next one is Let It Snow, which is again a selection, quite a lot of short stories now. This is a selection of 3 almost novellas, because look, they're in a novel-sized book, by John Green, Maureen Johnson and Lauren Miracle, and this has recently been made into a Netflix movie, which David and I watched and really, really loved. And when I was talking about when I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, I must revisit that book. And now I enjoyed the movie so much. I always feel like it's nice to go back and revisit things that you've really, really loved, because now I can sort of put faces to those people. So yeah, so I will be, so I'm going to be definitely reading that soon. And then I've got a book that I bought earlier this year called Rover Saves Christmas by Roddy Doyle. I've never read any, oh no, I read one of Roddy Doyle's children's books earlier this year. And thought, oh, I must read his Christmas book as well. And Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts always mentions it. So yeah, looking forward to reading Roddy Doyle. Very, very funny. And then this is a sort of blast from Christmases past, or even blast from my reading past. And this is Christmas Cracker by Jacqueline Wilson, and this is a book, a Tracy Beaker story, where it's join Tracy Beaker for festive stories, fun activities and more. And when I was younger, I used to read so much Jacqueline Wilson. I used to get it out from the library all the time, and I saw this in, I think I saw it in Sainsbury's. Naughty, you shouldn't really buy books in supermarkets, they've got enough money, you should buy it in bookshops. But I saw it and I was like, oh, I must get that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to revisiting Christmas with an old pal, Tracy Beaker. And then the last book I've got is one that I picked up at the Penguin Christmas party 2 or 3 years ago, like a long, long time ago. Not last Christmas, Christmas before, so 2 years ago. And it's set at Christmas, and this is sort of one that once I've got through my Christmas books, I feel like maybe this is one that I will get to. And that is The Toy Makers by Robert Dinsdale. This is a proof copy, but a beautiful proof copy. Look, it's got a little soldier on the side, and this is like a little door into there, and it is set in a toy shop. So it says, help wanted, are you lost, are you afraid, are you a child at heart, so are we. The Emporium opens with the first frost of winter. Sales and stock taking, no experience required, bed and board included. Apply in person at London's premier merchants of toys and childhood paraphernalia. And I believe it's set over Christmas. So yeah, very much looking forward to that if I do get to it. So those are all the books that I plan to read in December. Quite a TBR there, quite a I've got big plans, obviously. I mean, I've got so much planned in December. If I get any reading done, well done me. So but I'm going to make time to have a little read tonight and pick up one of these books. But really, really looking forward to reading all of those books, because Christmas books, December and Christmas books are just my favourite. Like, just reading those Christmas books for the first sort of 25 days of December, I love doing it. So really, really excited to get into that. Are you reading Christmas books in December? Are you reading any? Are you reading all? What have you got planned? Would love to hear from you, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the next video in Vlogmas.